Like around 3 years ago when I actually started working as a GTM engineer, you can like kind of like say it as a must that whenever you're working on an outbound campaign or anything like that in general, you actually needed some automation softwares or automation platforms to help you out. Like you have to head up like an automation software in your stack. Like for example, you would need N8N for any operational stuff, or even for outbound, you would need like Zapier, you would need stuff like that just for operational stuff, or just for the outbound or the GTM in general, whether it's just sending the messages or whether you're not using an email sequencer, you are just sending the messages through N8N. Whatever the case is, you actually needed an automation platform, right? So I'm just going to share a small case with you, and I'm going to tell you that how I replicated it with Claude Code and how I am saving my organization hundreds of dollars, actual hundreds of dollars for this, right? So the thing is that this case specifically just goes over the fact that when you're working with more clients in general, the thing is that you cannot just use all of the enrichments inside clay.com, right? Because they are just going to be too expensive in the long run. So what you're going to do is that you're going to actually buy bulk plans for APIs and for other stuff as well, so that you can kind of like use them in order to like do the basic enrichments. Because let's suppose if I have the costs for different bulk scraping. I think you can see on the top left that it is the cost of scraping one LinkedIn profile from Clay, and on the right is the cost of scraping a LinkedIn profile from a custom API from Rapid API or any other platform. But the thing is that um, if you look at the screen, this is the issue with Rapid API, and people actually struggle here, which is that when founders and when other people come to this screen and they see that, okay, it's just, I can just scrape around 20,000 prospects for $40. That's really cheap. But the thing is that we have a rate limit of one request per second. Now, usually how we actually fixed it was we actually went to make.com or to any other platform that you have, whether it's N8N. I tried it on N8N, it didn't work. On N8N, on Zapier, or anything like that, and you created this like custom and a small workflow which actually uh, literally kind of like removes the rate limit for APIs. And what it does is that it works sequentially, meaning that the webhook actually receives the data from Clay, like which is going to be the LinkedIn URL of the person for this case. Then it's just going to sleep for 3 seconds. Then it's going to use this API that we are actually using. So in this case, this API to actually scrape out the data. Then it's going to aggregate the data, convert it into JSON, and then it's going to just send it back to Clay through a custom webhook, right? And the thing is that this is really simple and it's just going to work sequentially. You would have to wait for some time. But the thing is that let's suppose I am in an organization where I am kind of like scraping out profiles of like tens and thousands of prospects. Like I am scraping out 50,000 LinkedIn profiles of 50,000 prospects every single month. Doing it on Clay, it's not worth it. So I need to actually do something like this in order to cut costs. So I would have to pay like $40 here, and then I would have to pay for make.com as well. Now the thing is that since Claude Code is here, you don't actually have to do anything like this, and you don't have to pay make.com. You only just need to make an application just like I have done, and then that's fucking it, to be honest, and you don't need to do anything else. So for example, I made a LinkedIn scraper for Boost where I'm actually working right now. And you could see the logo as well. I don't know, man. I just can't live without incomplete applications. Anyways, we are just going to open it, and it's just going to open in a second. And yeah, and we have a screen like this. Now it is completely made on Claude Code. I don't know coding that much and anything like this, but the thing is that it's really fucking simple. I just tell Claude that what I want, where I'm struggling, what am I expecting from it, and then Claude kind of makes me something like this. So what I've done here is that for this application, I have put my API key inside it, and then I actually have to give it the CSV file path, which is actually going to include all of the LinkedIn links that are needed to actually scrape out the profiles for the people, right? So for example, I have a CSV. I'm just going to go and select a random CSV here, and it's just going to actually understand, and it is actually just going to get the LinkedIn column itself, right? And it can just detect it automatically through regex. And the thing is that now I am actually going to give it the webhook of clay.com. The When you're on Clay, you're just going to go to clay.com, make a custom webhook sheet, and once you actually get the webhook link, you are just going to paste it here. So what it is going to do is that it is actually going to get the LinkedIn URLs from this file, and then it is actually going to send these LinkedIn URLs to the API, and it is actually going to give it the API key as well, which I can just change here. So for example, in my organization, if I am using this API for scraping, I can just use it, and then I can literally just send this exe file to my colleague, and she can or he can actually just change the API key and use his or her own API, whatever they have bought, right? So we can change the API keys as well. And I only have to put the Clay webhook URL here that is actually going to receive the data that is actually going to be processed in all of this. So right now my API key is not working, but I'm still going to show you a demo of how it works. I'm just going to click on, for the webhook URL, I'm just going to put some random stuff. It's going to fail, but I think you're going to get the demo. So it is just going to show me live logs of what's happening. So for example, the first guy was Chris, and it actually took its LinkedIn URL, and it actually sent it to the API that we had and through our API key. And once it has actually processed it, then it actually tried to send the data to the webhook URL, which is actually going to be the clay.com webhook or any other webhook where you want the data to be received. And the thing is that, as you can see here, it is scraping the data, but the thing is that it is failing because the webhook is not going to the actual endpoint where we actually want the data to go, because I have actually wrote like DWA on the webhook like bar. So the thing is that, but you can see that it actually works sequentially. Like I have put some randomization in it as well. Once you have actually made the application, then you can go to the nitty-gritties for it. So for example, for this application, what I have done is that I have actually put some randomization between each and every script. So the randomization is between 2 seconds to 5 seconds, and this is really important because when you are actually kind of like scraping data in bulk, sometimes the APIs have such strict rate limits that it thinks that you are just scraping like a bot, and it literally just stops giving you the data, right? Or it actually just gets bugged. And the thing is that I have put a randomization of 2 to 5 seconds, meaning that it can scrape out like one API, one LinkedIn profile, and then it's going to wait 2 seconds. For the other profile, it's going to wait 3 seconds. For the other profile, it can wait 5 seconds. So it's just a randomization stuff, and it is actually going to make the data sourcing really safe and make the data scraping really safe. And you can like face less bugs like this, because I have noticed it and I try to fix it myself. So the thing is that I can actually stop it from there as well, and it's just going to get stopped. So the thing is that the main purpose of my video is that I have kind of like, we in Boost we actually kind of like scrape out a lot of people. Like right now I can say that we have scraped the profiles of like around more than 100,000 prospects, to be honest, at this time. And the thing is that if we actually had to do it through Make or through N8N or through any other automation platform, it would actually had to cost us like around $1,000 or something like that, just in Make credits or just in N8N credits, in order to actually get it sorted out. I mean, we can do it on N8N for free, but it's just going to be a hassle because we are still paying it. But the thing is that the case is that we actually had to pay them somehow, right? And I have made it completely for free. What I'm trying to say is that you can do it too. Start using Claude Code before Claude Code actually replaces you. You need to actually know how to help your organizations with stuff like this, because I have always told my organization, and I always tell this thing in my meetings as well, is that there are two ways to get profit. Either you actually get more clients and you work for them, or either you cut your cost. And this is a really big example of how you can actually cut your costs in operations and kind of get the money in your own pocket. This is going to be it. Thank you.